What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 4 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Aranessa Saltspite campaign. So as we saw last time, in a pretty darn big battle we were able to wipe out the Wood Elves at Susuria Wood, and not do too bad in terms of taking casualties considering their troop superiority. In addition to that, Aranessa was able to acquire a Skull Island and the gold that it afforded us, as well as getting her level 12 power spike with all the nice upgrades that brought, and pop the ritual for Queen BESS as well. So pretty darn big power spike for Aranessa's army, though I'm sure we'll get bigger. Alright, and in terms of what we're gonna do this time, we will probably move Manann Vol maybe to raid this little Orky faction out here for a little while Aranessa moves northward to start working on these guys. I would also like to begin recruiting both additional units for Aranessa as well as a third army to set out to sea to just constantly gather islands pretty much non-stop. So, let's begin. Aranessa, you are going to leave the settlement here first. In fact, let's just move Henrietta Bootycatcher out. You're going to join Maddie over here. And you are going to move here. And then we're going to pop into full speed stance and go near to... Ah, damn. It's a little bit annoying. I was gonna say near to Lucchini because we can... I guess we don't have to use Aranessa to dig. We can use somebody else. Alright. I don't want to waste a turn of Aranessa moving, so we'll move somebody else. And we'll do the battle when we want to grab those very nice rewards, because right now, it's not super necessary. Alright, Nessa, you're in a good place, and you can switch to... Oh, no, you can't, because we need to switch to stances. That's not a big deal. We'll do it when we conquer the next territory. Sartosa, I would like you to summon a new vampire fleet admiral, Murderer Plunderer. Murderer ain't bad, actually. Melee attack +5 and enemy leadership reduction straight up. Huh. That, and it's vampires as well, which ain't too bad. Now the other option would be to get Instigator, which is... Ooh, which would be particularly good for a sea army. Loyalty decline rate is lowered and likes fighting other pirate lords. Yeah. Alright, Jim Cox or Harold Half-Mast? I'm gonna say Harold Half-Mast. I mean, they're both fine. Let's do you, sir. And I guess your Lore of the Deeps, which also does make sense for a seaborne army. Now, what we want you to do is to... Oh, wow. 2.5k to summon the man-eaters with ogre pistols, eh? And gotta say, that's pretty darn expensive, and they're 300 gold apiece, but I do want to get at least a couple of them into Aranessa's army, so let's start on that. Despite the massive cost, and at least this way we won't have to have Aranessa sit around recruiting. You can transfer as you go. We can give you a luck stone, and that's about it. Just gotta watch out for your loyalty so that it does not screw us over. And I believe we're good. Sartosa, Lucchini, and the Susuria Wood are all okay. As in we don't have to build anything. Outposts we will not build, so we will simply end the turn and proceed. Alright, let's see if we can reach Porto Maggiore in a single bound, or not. And let's also see if the Kislevites here die. If they do, Wurzag is likely to turn upon us. Maybe we'll have to try to join whatever war he's fighting in order to keep him from attacking us at the current time. No, it looks like he has not yet destroyed these guys, but he's getting there. Also, before I forget, we did once again reach the likes and comments threshold, so this episode will be an hour long, and once again I make the same offer. If this particular episode gets 400 likes and 50 comments, then the next episode will be an hour long as well. Alrighty, Nessa, you are at war with a blue-faced tribe, eh? Alright, let's see about this. If we ask the blue-faced tribe to join war against you...
What's your message?
Join war against Verezzo. Balance offer, 3k. Nice, nice, nice. And this is the right faction, right? Yeah, because of all the new flags and factions, I get very concerned about confusing factions with each other. Propose offer. We'll get some use out of this, even if... our defensive allies are fighting these guys, which is kind of funny, but you know what? We're low reliability anyway. You can't trust a pirate, folks. Henrietta Bootycatcher, you're gonna join this army in a second, but first, we will deal with you, Aranessa. To Porto Maggiore, this will hopefully be auto-resolvable, right? There's not much there. Nope, it looks like you will die. Ah, Sartosa Free Company. Wait, what if we give you Dead Man's Chest? Nope, you will still die. You gotta be kidding me. I know that these guys have a full army out here somewhere. I'm almost tempted to just let this thing die and then raise some dead instead. If these guys are gonna be a liability, and we're gonna replace them soon anyway, you know, let's just let them die. This is a waste of our time. Wow. Quite a bit of damage there, but it is what it is. Occupy Porto Maggiore, and we got a Sword of Anti-Heroes for our trouble. Aranessa can also then build portholes and... I think nothing here, though. I think we want to wait to either upgrade the mutant... No, we want to upgrade the captain's cabin. So that we can then upgrade the anchor, so that we can grow faster and better, etc, etc. Really what we want here is to get to tier 4, but that's once again going to take a while. Aranessa, just replace that one unit with something. Global recruitment's going to take too long, so one turn. I guess we'll give you a bloated corpse, even though it'll die in... We can also give you a zombie pirate deckhands mob. Or we... Wait a second. I lied. What we actually want to do is get a vampire fleet captain. And I almost forgot. Alright, it'll be the vampire fleet captain of the deep. Though sadly I don't like either one of these. I guess we'll start with you, the fleet-footed one, and then we'll probably replace you with a different type later on. There we go. That actually worked out. Also, are we able to raise bats here? No. If we were, I would have just joined these bats together to rebatify. Which is a word, I swear. Don't bother collecting income here yet. Go for the salt pens, just to reduce the construction cost here. Speaking of construction cost, Caesarea would upgrade you to tier 2, though it's going to take 8 million years to do. And let's immediately get... we do want to get to the back alleys, but we'll start with the tree and noose. The back alleys just to buff up the money made in the Plains of Lucini, since it's our main money-making territory. Speaking of the Plains of Lucini, let's upgrade Mentopua first, as well as the lynching post. And... how do we want to deal with Madeline Vole? You know what? I think we'll move Henrietta up here. Madeline, I would like you to go all the way to the edge of this territory and start raiding this little Orky faction. And we'll still probably betray these guys. Completely necessary. We're just gonna lean into not being very trustworthy. Screw being trustworthy. I always play it too trustworthy in my campaigns. Alright, the rest of this looks good. I don't believe we have any diplo to do, especially considering our reliability is low due to last episode's screw-up, but oh well. Alright, you've nearly got your first 2 ogres on the field. We should probably get some other stuff on the field. You know what, let's... Well, actually, no. We'll recruit them afterwards. I'm probably going to put some animated hulks and maybe some more Grimmanators in your army to send you out to sea. You're also probably going to have to hunt down some pieces of 8 while Aranessa's busy, so your army shouldn't be too bad. Outpost available, and turn. Alright, quick little turn, but I'd like to find a proper enemy army to actually fight. I hope I didn't miscalculate and the main enemy stack isn't sitting right here, wherein it will attack Caesarea Wood immediately. But I guess if it does, it's not much of a loss, let's face it. Ah, never mind, there it is. And then what I would like to do is double check the Vampire Fleet Captains. You're aggressive. Still not something I'd get over what we have. So, Jesse Rains, join the army. Nessie, it's time to try out Bessie. Still damaged, mind you, and ooh, our crabby boys are quite a bit damaged, but it's okay, we will deal. Madeline, I'd like you to go into raiding stance, so right there. Which gives you 872 per turn. Doesn't quite pay for your army, but it ain't too bad, I gotta say. I wonder if we'd make more by moving to Argalis. It's probably the case. Do these guys have an actual army? Would they be able to stop us from doing this? I don't think so. I think we're free to do this, essentially. Alright, stay here, or at least close to here. Like so, and this appears to be a river or canal or something that we're gonna have to cross. Okay. Let's also do oh wow, there is no buildings to be building. Then, that means two things. You, Harold Half-Mast, Harry Half-Mast. Oh, I love their name generator. It's so good. You're gonna move to Lucchini, buddy. First go to regular stance. Go here. And then switch to full speed, which gives you more movement range than the other stance. Then you're gonna go to Lucchini, you're gonna dig while Aranessa's busy. Let's also get the Gunnery White leveled up with his powder keg into utility belt ASAP. No. Actually, yes. No, not now. I lied. The rest of that is fine, and then Billy Butler. Scavenge for you to get a little bit more cash. We do have to fund these new armies, after all. Nessie, strike. And they are not going to run. Big mistake, a real big mistake, as you're facing off against Queen Bess, and we no longer have artillery inferiority. On top of that, we currently have the Queen Bess right running, so she's hitting at 900 range, and even our mortars are hitting at 600, which is just obnoxious. Granted, it's not that long of a thing, but that's okay. You are going to go right here on... There's exactly 8 of them. One of the central units of militia, and we're good to go. Let's try Bessie out our first time.
Okay. We will be.
Alrighty, it most certainly is okay. Here we go, Queen Bess will strike once more, and it's time for both armies to get hammered. Our army hammered because they're always hammered because they're pirates, and their army hammered by artillery, specifically by the Hellhammer, which is what Queen Bess is, which is basically a big screw-off gun that is, well, basically an entire ship. Alrighty, an Imperial Siege ship anyway. Let's see that. Smash that enemy mortar. Very nice, not quite direct, but all the little additional munitions will certainly do their work here, and another shot will bring the mortar down before it can do anything. The enemy army has a long way to travel to get to us, while Queen Bess and her little mini mortars lay down their fire. And there's another shot coming in. And it'll be great to get some Dreadquakes in addition to Queen Bess. Just have two Dreadquake mortar trains plus Queen Bess in a single army. And then maybe even a couple Hellstorm rocket batteries or Fire Rain rockets. No enemy army will ever get any infantry close to that. And I think they might actually combine reasonably well, because Queen Bess and the and the Hellstorm rockets, for example, or the Dreadquake mortars. So Hellstorm rockets have this tendency to essentially stop enemy or stagger enemy troop formations by forcing explosions and then destroying formations, which allows you a few extra seconds while the enemy troops get back into formation, which might allow a Bess or a Dreadquake to dish out more damage. Anyway, I'll give it a try if we can get some allies of those particular factions. In the meantime, we continue to wait. We have a nice hilly position for our artillery and our deck gunners, which are basically artillery themselves, and they're all going to be racking up the kills. Looks like while the enemy artillery are out, a unit of swords is also out, and the deck gunners are going to have no trouble exploding all these infantry. They really should have brought a bunch more handgunners and a bunch more non-melee infantry of their own, crossbows, etc. By the time their forces actually get to us, they're going to be so heavily damaged that they probably won't be able to achieve too much. Oh, look at those shields up. Isn't that cute? I'm sure that'll help against the deck gunners. And here they come. Mr. Billy Butler is moving in first, and he's going to crawl forward to try to get after that enemy lord, who I assume will have no chance whatsoever. Man, you gotta love the Morngul Haunters. I love their animations, they're just so fun. And that's a lord that's having a very, very bad day. Not that his army is having one much better. They're starting to move in now and are about to get in range. In fact, are in range of our Sartosan militia companies. No melee fight as yet, but now they can take pistol shots to the face, as well as the rest of our artillery shots. And before getting cutlasses to the face as well. And there we go, the battle lines have finally collided. Our Karabi boys are moving in and are going to help out on this particular flank, and we've got more units. You can hear my cat meowing in the background. I can hear more units, or rather see more units moving onto the flank. There is a unit of Outriders here, not crazy concerning, mind you, but we do want to destroy it. Otherwise, the battle is going very much in our favor. I just really don't see these swordsmen dishing out enough damage for us to be concerned with. I mean, I'm sure that the Sartosan militia will lose a few units here and there. Models, rather, because in theory, the enemy swordsmen are technically superior to them in a straight-up fight. Or may be able to outlast them, at least with sufficient buffs. But of course, we have a pile of supportive guns, and they just do not. Looks like the enemy lord is either dead or about to be. He's got a tiny bit of HP. Aranessa's moving into where the biggest blob of enemies remains, and in fact there is a unit of great swords here, so she pops her spearfisher's net, and I don't know how she managed to fit all that netting. I guess you could use the rotting Promethean's shell. And chucked nets at all of those great swords. It wasn't actually to slow them down in this particular case, but rather to get that nice and defensive buff. And 1 second, I'm just gonna leave my camera here while I move my cat, or he will not stop meowing. Alright, there we go. I see the battle is not over yet, though it's... I lied, the battle is very much over. Alright, well, the last few seconds were, let's say, not crazy eventful, as throughout the battle the enemy failed to break through our battle lines, and that didn't change up to the end. Queen BESS, of course, probably claimed house here, and 339 damage and 43k. Very nice. Wait, 43k, is that it? Nah. 44, 345, yeah, that's about right. Alrighty, well done to everybody, and looks like the deck gunners did very well as well. We had a very nice position on this hill here before the enemy got to us. Anyway, we got some chasing to do, but I'll do it off screen. Alright, not too bad. Certainly a little bit of damage on some of our Sartosan units, but otherwise we did pretty darn well there. One of the deck gunners, the Shambling Barrels in particular, did 24k damage, and the Grog Gunners not far behind with close to 19k. But of course, the Queen stole the show, 45k damage and 360 kills, as Queen BESS made a mess of the entire enemy army. Very, very nice. Destroy the enemy artillery before they could do anything at all, and then promptly destroyed a very solid chunk of their troops in HP. We could take the money. I don't know whether we can, you know what, let's just assimilate captives, it's probably safer. I'd love to auto-resolve this, or wait, are we in range? We can't be in range, can now, we're not. It's okay though. Alright, Earthing Rod. for free. Are we able to reach the enemy? Yes, indeed we are. Alright then.
Another victory.
I'm assuming that the auto-resolve won't screw us if we do this.
See
A big
father.
assumption, I guess. It is only one unit, but you never know with the auto-resolve. Alright. And down you go, fella, and we will once again, I think, assimilate.
You're my food.
We are out of range. Ooh, a Trickster Shard, very nice. Out of range of Arezzo, but that's okay. We'll give the Trickster Shard immediately to the Vampire Fleet Captain, though I fear that we won't be keeping you around, mostly because I'm not a huge fan of fleet-footed. Oh, although fleet-footed? Because like, fleets, you know. That's not bad, though. Martin Jackson, Master of the Black Arts. We have a new Gunnery White available, and I think we want to get one to Madeline's army. I take it we can only recruit them here at Sartosa and with Aranessa, so we'll go with you. The reason, well, Dread Incarnate isn't a bad option either with the enemy leadership reduction, especially if you stack things that cause enemy leadership reduction. I think one of these does as well. Unless I'm mistaken. Or maybe not. Well, not these ones, but that doesn't mean that one of them doesn't. One of them... Ah, there it is. Murderer. Enemy leadership reduction -2, so we could stack you two together if we desired to do so. But then we'd have to build a new army. You know what? I think for the first one, we'll go for the Master of the Black Arts. Spirit Leech Bound isn't too bad. I like to spam the Master of the Black Arts heroes when I play Vampire counts, so I don't imagine doing the same thing with Vampire Coast would be too bad. Anyway, looks like Aranessa is good. She did level up again, though, so let's get another point in Creatures of Manann and get additional missile resistance for all of our Sartosan units sit past rank 7.
There'll be double rations on the
Oh,
ship
no, it's
this
only for
week.
the Rotting Prometheans and the Mines. Oh, that's fine. Oh, it's the upkeep reduction for these guys, which actually makes our army almost as cheap as the other army. Alright, well, that'll at least mean that these ogres won't be crazy expensive, because they're costing us a pretty penny right now. Otherwise, what I think we'll want to do... Well, I guess we'll wait until Wurzag kills off these guys, then see. In fact, wait, is he willing to non-aggress? -7. If we join your war against the Exiles of Nehek. -3 and 7.6 calc. Yeah, that's not going to happen. That is most definitely not going to happen. Ashok the Bloody is also nearby. I might send Madeline Vole to hunt him down once she has her heroes and maybe a couple more units. But in the meantime, skip. We're maxed out on treasure maps. You know what? I think we'll get rid of these two because they're so far. And we'll find them. We'll find other ones most likely. This one's further. Let's take you out, and then we'll see what other one we get. We gotta keep flipping through these, otherwise it's gonna be too long without any. Anyway, end turn. Now let's take out this faction for good, and then we'll move on to the next faction here. I wonder how soon we'll encounter, like, a major legendary lord slash faction. I mean, I guess technically we've encountered Wurzag, but we're not looking to go into the Badlands ourselves, so I'd rather ally with him. Not that I particularly would like any orc units, I think. No peace treaty. I'm making that mistake twice. Yeah, I don't think that... Hello. There's a little time... Oh my lord. More Sleeves Howlers already has an Ragnarok Spider and a Doomdiver Catapult. We're gonna need to destroy you. Because otherwise you're going to annoy us. Ugh, it had to spawn right there. Well, either way, you, Harry Halfmast, I would like you to dig. Diggy hole, please. Treasure hunt failed? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I guess it's down here. What? Really? It's... okay. Just very, very slightly off. Okay, well, it happens. You can keep on raiding. I think you'll be fine. Like, can we move somewhere, like, here? Where we can put Henrietta into your army? I guess we'll get rid of one of the zombie pirate deckhands mobs. Guess we can summon other type of units.
The blood kiss for more crew.
Like so.
Admiral of the
Alright, fantastic. Next up we got buildings, though by the looks of it, it ain't much. First of all, we'll go with the Port Smuggler's Jetty, then we'll go for the Hoard of Booty, and lastly, what do we build at Lucchini? We probably want public orders, so the Buccaneers Tavern, as this particular place won't have the public order bonuses that Sartosa will, so it makes sense. You, sir, would it be faster to go by land or by sea? By land, by the looks of it. Surprising, but sure. And we have no other heroes that we can currently summon because we are out of capacity. Alright, Nessa, take out Verezzo. What do we have in terms of defenses? Do we have to actually attack them? Pyrrhic Victory and one of the bats will die. I think this is not worth our time, and while we will probably get damaged here, I'd rather just raise a bat. Wait, oh, I misclicked. Oh, the bat actually lives, funny. Occupy the place. They would have had no chance against Queen BESS. Let's face it, and oh! I didn't realize they had another cell. Oh, this is a different faction. Huh. Well, we're probably gonna attack them as well anyway. Man. Yeah, we need to be careful about the orcs, because they could go here and they could jump over these mountains. This place is kind of nestled in the mountains and very difficult to reach. It also feels like this is a place that should have like an iron mine or something. But anyway, some kind of mine. We're able to get rid of you. We can keep the tavern, though. That'll be okay. Alright, and Nessa, while you're here, you can build nothing. We'll continue saving for the captain's cabin. Yeah. Alrighty. Harold, you cannot move. You can recruit while not moving if you want. I guess you could also recruit later. Why waste the additional cash? Yeah, alrighty, which means we're not gonna. The Kislevites live, and thus we're not going to do any war declarations. And we're just gonna end the turn and proceed. End turn. Yeah, the distances are certainly quite a bit bigger in this. It certainly doesn't feel like one advances quite as quick as in the regular Immortal Empires map. Not that that's a bad thing, mind you. Certainly gives a bigger feeling of bigness to the world. Join more? No, not right now. Later. We're working on it, though. And hello. Did you just move? Oh, you've made a terrible, terrible mistake, sir. Ooh, Sun Eaters are dead. That's not great, as I was thinking about potentially allying with them. You have gotten your army buffed up, and you're standing right beside our territory. Alright, let's dig right here. And now stand right beside Lucchini, though. Please tell me this is the place. There we go. Map deciphered. A great hoard of treasure may be received. 10,000 gold and 150 infamy. And we got a new treasure map found, which is so far that I'm not going to bother with. Yeah, we'll find the rest and we'll keep these. Also, nah, I don't see Gentleman Jenkins, unfortunately. Oh well. You need to move down closer to Argalis. And if we can head out to sea and catch Ashok the Bloody, then we'll do that as well. Next up, we got buildings. River Ariati. Verezzo, we will go with, I guess, the plunder pile. Yeah, probably the plunder pile, at least to start off with. And then we will upgrade either one of these. It makes no difference first. And that's about it. How's Sartosa doing? Getting closer and closer to tier 4, which we will be very happy to get. You, sir, Gunnery White, move on towards Madeline's army. Maddie, keep on raiding, and oh, how'd you lose your loyalty? It's unfortunate, but oh well. Alright, next up we've got these guys, who are currently at war with Rot Clan Scar and Ramatep Dynasty. And they're trading with Miragliana. Well, that's great for them. Won't stop Aranessa from taking all their stuff, however. Let's level up and let's go. Sawfish Pegleg, a little bit of extra armor, a little bit of extra weapon strength, but I think Monkey Jacket is actually the better pick here. And yeah, let's get Monkey Jacket first. The Sawfish Pegleg buff is very solid, but I think she's taking too much damage at the current time until we get her some nice regeneration. And damn, yeah, we haven't had a lot of these ancillaries as yet. Anyway, trying to get to utility built for Mr. P.D. Elsum. I'm gonna pick one of the names off my list and change it, probably later. And let's go for shark bait so that we can always get utility built right after. Billy. And what were we going through? Let's just get Insatiable Hunger and then start moving through the Foe Seeker line and Tenacity as well to get him even more tanky. Yes, max out replenish troops as fast as possible. And on top of that, let's get Spiteful Shot and then into Denizens of the Deep to be able to summon Rotting Prometheans as soon as we can. Alright, looks good to me. Nessie, a strike again. I probably should have turned off Parlay Stance actually, but it is too late now. Declare war directly, I guess. Yeah.
Never.
Alright, I take it you can't auto-resolve this? Well, the bats die. I have to wonder how heavily everybody else gets damaged. It's not a lot of enemies. On the other hand, if we want to resolve the settlement, we might want to... You know what? I'm gonna manually fight this ultra quick, just allow Bessie and the Mortars, dibs on the band name. A pretty solid band name, Bessie and the Mortars, to destroy the enemy army from a distance. We'll just set ourselves up right here. Oh, it's this map. Interesting. Okay, never mind. We'll set ourselves up right here. Look at the frickin' range. Oh, it's obnoxious. Of course, it won't last because the right will disappear. I'm gonna aim bad for now. Alright, you guys up here. You go here. And good sir. And then piles of units here. Piles of units here. Bats back here. I'll speed through this and... Hey, there you go. And then you, Pete, out front. Is that everybody? Did I forget somebody? Who did I forget? Oh, the Krabby Boys. Yeah, Krabby Boys, stay here. Start deployment, start battle, go. We will move you four like so. And we will move you four like so. Bessie, fire away. Oh, that's nice. Alrighty, where's that projectile? Away it goes, and I mean, we watched it all last battle, but it's gonna be a long time before I get tired of this. Please don't miss. Oh, very nice. Did not, in fact, miss at this distance. I love all the little additional mini explosions. Alright, well, give the enemy time to head towards us. I'm going to actually speed through this, however. Let's see how close they can get. Like so, like so. All of you stay here. Bats, I'd like you to stay out of range. And the enemy's in march stance, so we don't actually have to do anything about that, really. In the sense that the army will be destroyed as soon as they all shatter, so we don't have to chase them down. And this will only take 2 minutes or so, most likely. And, are they purposely hiding in the trees like this? Because if they are, that's a decent way to do it. And if they are, not so much. Gunnery White, I'd like you to top off Bessie, more powder. Keep that buff, the more powder buff, or lots of powder buff, or whatever the buff is called, up. What is it? Black powder aplenty. Lots of buffs when ammunition above 80%. Our mortars are dropping, but we should be able to top them off shortly. Man, the enemy's not even in range of the gunners yet. Who's Bess firing at? Bess, fire right at the center line. Oh, they're approaching. They'll slow down when Pete gets close, too. More powder on you. And I'm going to pop the buff as soon as the enemy gets a little closer as well. And just because I want the gunners in range. Alright. I wonder how Bess's kill kill ability compares to the likes of... Ooh, okay, I want to watch these guys fire for a little bit. Let's also pop the more powder on Bess again, and then we'll go Enchanted Ballistics and have everybody do their thing. No need for a full cinematic. Ah, yeah, that's what I like to see. Giant cannon firing, a little cannon for mortars firing. We'll get some other cannons as well. And are you guys actually firing on the enemy lord? Well, he is 11. Oh, enemy archers are firing at these guys, Sartosans. I mean, we're all Sartosans, but you know what I mean. Switch targets, and switch targets. And gunners, I would actually like you to fire at somebody else. We'll send Billy Butler to deal with the enemy lord. And I was hoping to avoid casualties complete. Well, actually, technically none of these guys have died yet, but nonetheless. Alright, a couple strikes from BESS should destroy the enemy. Billy has got the enemy locked down. Could also very much hurt their capacity or ability to do damage to us. Alright, we also want to try to hunt down these crossbows. And shortly, probably charge the rest of our units forward. In fact, Aranessa, I'd like you to deal with those crossbows, and Sartosa Militia, march forward. And deck gunners, I'd like you to turn off skirmish mode, and I'll speed it back up again in a second. In fact, Aranessa, charge. These guys, BESS, who are you firing at? Just fire in the center, and mortars are good. Forward, speed it up to max, battle should be over any second now. There we go, shattered. Alright, very nice, so let's end the battle prior to anybody taking additional damage. From our own units from friendly fire, I mean, 0 losses. A auto resolve. Hey, BESS actually got more kills here than in the last battle. I guess we were quite a bit further away from the enemy than we were last time, to be fair. It's just too bad that the enemy army wasn't close enough to their settlement to draw the army out, or I would have bothered to actually fight that cinematically. This will allow us to heal to full as well. Very nice. I know it's missing money, but it is what it is. And we can hit the settlement as well.
Make them fish.
Out of it. Ah, the bitch. Game. Actually, they've got 3 handgunners, a mortar, some great... Oh, this one might actually... Pyrrhic victory. Yeah, this one might actually be worth fighting. Huh, go figure. Alright, I wasn't expecting that, but I am pleasantly surprised. And the sheer amount of troops. Yeah, I would have loved to have fought both of those armies at the same time, but it wasn't a possibility at the time either. I really don't want to send Aranessa back here to deal with Scalpake, but we may have to. I mean, she moves pretty darn fast and far. And I guess she has to meet up with Harry in order to get those ogres. Oh, well. If it isn't the Cult of Sigmar. Yeah, we're probably not going to be allying with them. I'd love to, but it's unlikely. I'm going to throw our lot in with Wurzag right now, if we can manage to do so. Mostly because these guys don't like us with the massive amount of aversion, and let's face it, Volky has a little bit of a thing, a little bit of a hate boner for the undead. So we should probably knock him out because of it. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Let's upgrade the last points. Utility belt for you, sir. And Billy Butler, you're going to get Scavenge maxed out. Let's hit Terren and destroy all these guys. Away we go. Oh, you know what? I am glad that I decided to actually fight this. I did not expect this to be a minor settlement battle. This is going to be absolutely disgusting. Queen BESS in a minor settlement battle, every single enemy unit is going to die. We don't even technically need to use anything but our artillery here. Queen BESS's range is such that she covers basically the entire settlement from where she is, so... Oh, what a disgusting artillery piece. Granted, this is with the 50% bonus, but even without it, the range would be pretty insane. Alrighty. Sorry, Luther. We get the big gun now. Alright, fire away once more, and there's gonna be plenty of these throughout this battle. Looks like a couple of the enemy units have already been destroyed. This unit only gets clipped there, but the additional little mini explosions are sufficient to see the enemy rout. Alright, and it's probably time to start moving the deck gunners closer as well. They are in fact in range, and the enemy settlement is, yeah, they're just screwed. There's nothing they can do here. We can destroy them with bombardment. And because they don't have walls like they would in a big settlement, we can destroy them with the deck gunners as well. Mortars and Queen BESS firing overhead, and the deck gunners firing directly into your face. It ain't great. It ain't great to be an Imperial this day, or the Southern Realmer, I guess. Anyway, oh, looks like the enemy Lord unit, Commander unit, whatever, is moving out, and it's a great sword unit. That's cute. Funnily enough, this army is more elite than the army that we faced off previously against. But alas, they won't be able to use any of those elite units. Anyway, we're going to continue firing for a while, but I'm just going to go ahead and speed it up while we very slowly move those deck gunners into position, and then continue firing some more. There's that second unit of great swords. And yeah, because of Queen BESS's massive firing arc and the same thing for the mortars, this entire army essentially has nowhere to hide. They can go behind buildings, but we can still drop mortars on their heads, and that would simply allow us to move the rest of our army into their settlement. It's like, there we go, Queen BESS arcing that shot over this building and then right into the beginning of this path and completely destroying that unit of crossbows. And deck gunners continuing to reap a fearsome tally of kills against those great swords, who are just about done as well. I mean, yeah, it says they're confident, but they're down to less than 30% HP. Alright, deck gunners, time to move a little bit closer again. Let's speed it up a teensy bit and then allow them to fire. Ooh, you guys should really have continued hiding there, as now the deck gunners and the mortars are going to fire on you. I certainly think that the AI needs to be programmed in these minor settlement battles to either be able to sally or, well, I was about to say completely retreat, but it's actually quite annoying when the AI completely retreats, or at the very least when it refuses to fight. And that does tend to get annoying. Like, sometimes when you have range superiority, you start moving closer into the enemy settlement, but rather than charging you when you're, like, in the square, for example, the enemy just continues retreating and not fighting. I'd prefer it if they, as soon as you entered close enough distance, let's say, they would all come in and attack you. Or if, while this situation is going on, they would all just come out and fight. And there's certainly a decent amount of situations where they would do better if they did that, rather than holding up in a settlement that the AI doesn't really understand how to take best advantage of and defend. Anyway, as we can see, the mortars and the deck gunners continue ripping all those units in the square apart. The balance of power has already shifted to about 70, 75 maybe % in our favor, and more units are getting deleted. That poor unit of halberdiers, I think these ones aren't coming back. Alrighty, here come more mortar shells like shooting stars over the buildings, though that time they didn't appear to hit. I don't even know what the heck they were aiming at there. Alright, come on, gunners. And you should take a volley from those deck gunners any second. Are you hand gunners? No, you're crossbows. Well, you'll be nothing in a second. There we go. Just a red splotch staining the square. And let's see what else we have here. Crossbows are down to 3 units and are shattered and gone. Deck gunners continue to make their way forward and will now be able to essentially cover the entire length of the square. The enemy Lord unit getting gunned down by the deck gunners and the mortars. And this just feels like bullying. And once again, this one's mean. I feel bad for the AI, but let's say punishment for not allowing well, for screwing us over with the auto-resolve pretty much constantly. Like, I'd love to use scurvy dogs and other things more, but, you know. The units that are so fragile that the auto-resolve refuses to allow you to use them, I need to be replaced with better units. Alrighty, now these greatswords get slowed down by the presence of our Mourngul Haunter. I'm really just gonna stick around a little bit and then we'll move on in. Deck gunners continue to work as well, and well, more enemy units are moving in. And good luck to you. Fire away, and yeah, that unit of swordsmen begins to melt. Just lost about half of its HP from a volley from one of the units of deck gunners. Or enjoying their time under the moonlight. I love the little mortars heralding the big shot from Queen Bess. And unfortunately that one whiffed. Oh well. Plenty of them haven't, so we're still good. And dead gunners continue to fire. The enemy could try to actually charge us now, as the deck gunners are relatively close. But we do have Billy Butler and Nessie and Jesse all nearby. Our vampire fleet captains. Ooh, that was painful. That was a dual volley by the deck gunners combined with a shot from Queen Bess all at the same time. Oh, was this guy gonna try to fire at the Mourngul Haunter? Yeah. Alright, and the battle will pretty much soon be ours. Another shot from Queen Bess. The deck gunners continue to move up, and we're going to move a few of our Sartosan militia close by as well, so that they can do a little bit of work. Or at the very least protect the deck gunners, if needed. The Mourngul Haunter, Aranessa, and our vampire fleet captain are all going to move in and fight some swordsmen, not because they have to, but just for fun. Otherwise we'd be just watching the artillery and the deck gunners do their thing. Not that I would complain about that, mind you. Swordsmen debuffed by the Tormentor's Sword and by poison. Their stats are very, very low. Not that we actually really needed to debuff them, as they wouldn't be able to handle Aranessa or the Mourngul Haunter, but it will take these guys a little bit of time to get rid of them. And Aranessa doesn't have a crazy amount of splash on her either, but I guess, well, it's counteracted by the fact that she applies bleed, so she could still apply it to multiple units. I also still think they really need to add the concept that a lord that gets down to, like, I don't know, maybe 50% HP or something like that, loses its mount for the rest of that particular battle, and it has to continue fighting on foot. I'm really quite surprised that they didn't have that in general. Anyway, Vampire Fleet Captain getting a few swings away with her cutlass. No Rotting Promethean on her as yet, but all of our lords and heroes will have Rotting Prometheans. The shadows, ooh, I like the bats under the moonlight as well. And bats are moving into the settlement now, mostly to head towards this tower to knock it out, while Billy Butler goes for the handguns to make sure that they don't kill the bats. As soon as the tower goes down, and that will be very soon, and the bats can then switch to helping out against those handgunners. Alright, how are we doing out here? Bounce power is about 90% in our favor, and I'm sure a few more volleys will see the battle be completely ours. Looks like the swords Aranessa and her fleet captain are fighting are done for, and frankly these handgunners just don't know what to do, engaged with the Mourngul Haunter as they are. Well, problems, they've got more problems where that came from as the bats come down and rip into them, and then we stop them with the Spearfisher's net so that they cannot escape, and really can't do anything as that lowers their melee defense to a mere 14, actually a mere 9, and even the bats with their extremely low melee attack will have no problem destroying them. How are we doing out here? Does it matter? Probably not much, as this is probably the last set of enemy units getting gunned down by those deck gunners. I see the shot from Queen Bess coming in the background. Let's see if it lands. Right in front of some of them, but the little mini munitions will hit the enemy regardless. There we go. And that's still just fine. And we can still follow it up with more shots from those deck gunners. And they're all shaken now, the bounce of power 95%. And I don't think we'll need to move much further as the enemy army will be shattered. Now? I see that leadership bar dropping, and yes indeed, the battle is ours. Fantastic. And I want to say no damage done to us. Maybe a couple of the bats might have died fighting the handgunners, but that's about it. Alrighty, well that was pretty horrifying. Minor settlement against Queen BESS, there's pretty much nothing the enemy can do, and in the future I'll do my best to auto-resolve the minor settlements, at least with Aranessa's army, because once again, just like when you have the Dreadquakes, you're not going to really stand a chance against the Hellhammer / BESS. Anyway, let's see, we can upgrade something immediately here. We don't need the munitions hut, but we can immediately get the slave pits and follow it up with a little bit of growth. Nessa, you're going to continue saving your growth, but not your points. Really actually tempted to get Ghost Fleet. Ooh, Freebooter is pretty good as well. I don't know how much points we'll have left, though. Tenacity is going to be 15% extra HP. Yeah, that's going to be nice. It's going to be real nice. But I guess out of all of this right now, what does go on account do? Raise dead cost reduction. That is not too bad. Nonetheless, I think we're going to go for the Softish Peg Leg. For no, I lied. We're going to go for Lucky Charm. 15% missile resistance is quite significant, and we're liable to come up against some enemies that have some devastating range damage. Denizens of the Deep for you, Fleet Captain. And now we've got a summoned unit that we can get going as well. Alright. I'm pretty happy with the result of that so far. Let's skip Outpost Commandment. Not skip, we will pop you into Dredge the Sea, just like the rest for the additional growth, and end the turn. And once again, let's pay attention to Wurzag. If he becomes weaker, if he loses an army, we join the war against the Exiles of Nehek, and we keep it friendly with him. Although I suppose, if he gets too weak, then we don't bother. And keep an eye on everybody there. I do think it actually did turn out to be the right move to get a defensive agreement going with these guys, and ooh, there we go. Order of the Winter Sun destroyed, and Ashok the Bloody is nearby. Wurzag has taken this place. How strong are you, Wurzag? Still tier 1, though. Join war against Exiles of Nehek for 6k. Is it worth our time? I don't know. How strong are you guys? 41, not so strong. If we keep the Badlands to Wurzag, he could keep everything south of us. The thing I am, however, worried about is him attacking Monte Castello. Honestly, if we could keep these guys alive, that might be valuable, unless the Southern Realms are still bugged and they still can't build good stuff, which was definitely a thing before. As in, you can get them as your allies, but they'll never have powerful units that you would otherwise want. Anyway, Madeline, you are going to try to go after Ashok the Bloody. We'll probably sail away, but I guess we can't raid forever. Away we go. Like so, and he can't quite reach us. I mean, if he could. I wish I remembered what was in his army, though. You know what, it's probably safer to go closer to him. If he attacks us, that's fine. I think we can win the battle, regardless of what's in his army. You are also going to try to join that army, Martin Jackson. Scalpake needs to be dealt with, though. Nessie, I would like you, since you can't reach Rafrafa, to march stance. It's going to take you 2 turns to do this. Ugh. It's a little much. It's a little much. But the army has to be destroyed, so. Much or not, until we get another army going, we'll need to do this, and we're losing cash, so yeah, no choice. Let's replace the bats at last with a couple of ogres. I mean, don't get me wrong, the bats are most definitely useful, but now that we have artillery superiority, it's not quite as necessary. Like so. Then I guess we'll delete the bats from your army, maybe? You know what? Keep them for now. I'm not sure I'll keep them in there, but oh, what the heck? Peasant long spears? What the heck is this army? Skaven, Orcs, Bretonnians, Cathians, and Imperials led by a Skaven warlord. What army is this? More Sleeves Howlers. Okay, well, one of the more interesting rogue armies I've seen, certainly. Anyway, let's keep building. You are going to get swag sex, and you are going to get growth via tree and noose. Plains of Lucini. Let's get more public order up and running. And we got to get those slave pits up and running as well, everywhere we can. Madeline can't get upgraded to Fleet Secretary as yet, but that is certainly something we'll need to keep an eye on. We've also got 3 turns until we can access a bunch more techs, which are going to be another power spike for us, and which is lovely. Skip, skip, skip. And do we spend the 6k on Wurzag?
So, you've heard of Wurzag's
Yeah, let's spend the 6k on Wurzag. Let's do it. It's a little much, but I think it'll be safer this way.
Alright then.
And there we go. I just don't want to deal with the Badlands. And those yellow territories with our vampires is meh. Alrighty. And I believe we're good. Treasure maps and pieces of 8 having no new ones. And oh, would you look at that? Nope. That. Lucky Levi's keepsake Gentleman Jenkins is still hanging around here, meaning he hasn't moved. You know what? If he moves closer, maybe we'll have Aranessa hunt him down. It will allow potentially these guys to rebuild at Rifrafa. But I'm going to assume that they won't be able to build up fast enough to actually become a threat to us. Probably shouldn't assume, but there it is. We are starting to hold a decent amount of territory now as well, which I believe will increase our growth, but decrease our control. What do we have here? And Green Skin Rebels. You lost a territory immediately, Wurzag. Oh. These guys are all not going to like us allying with Wurzag, are they? Well. Ashok the Bloody. Please don't run. I'm gonna right beside here. Oh. Wait. Go right beside him. Like so. And we'll declare war and force him to attack us so that he can't run. I wonder if we could send you... What the heck is this? This is broken, right? I assume we wouldn't get 50,000 settlements in this high elf colony, right? that's gotta be a bug. I'm kind of tempted to take it just out of curiosity. Which I might. You, Martin, go out here. Where is Scalpig? Still there, and he's still building units up. Well. And we can't reach him like this with Nessa, and I fear... Alright, I guess we're gonna go right beside him. Oh. He's a Skaven, meaning he could probably underway jump away. Which is also concerning. Look how bonus units coming out of Lucini, though. Alright, Nessa, just go right beside him. And we'll declare war on him. And we'll hope that he can't move. Harry. Oh, and Gentleman Jenkins is right nearby, too, but he'll be gone next turn. Damn. Harry, get into Lucini, please. And it's not like we can reach Jenkins right now, anyway. Alright, let's do the buildings. Let's declare war, let's end the turn, and let's see if we got us another fight on our hands. Sartosa, you've got 6.4k to spend on the tier 4 pirate lair, which means soon we have access to the rotting Promethean gunnery mobs, Plains of Lucini, another smuggler's jetty, another territory upgrade, and let's go for the haunted mill for growth, though we'll keep the munitions hut for now in order to get mortars for our third army. Varetz, though, will upgrade you, and then we'll completely run out of money. Alright, then what we want to do is declare war on Ashok the Bloody.
The chopper is in my
Like so, forcing him to attack us. Oh, he's got a couple catapults. Well, that'll be an issue, but it is what it is. Then we'll pop you into, I guess, Spiteful Shot for this, and then we'll try not to lose. You will also get war declared on, like so.
This nest lair is ours. Who can know?
And we're gonna hope that that works out. Might be worth fighting this just to see the Doom Wheel and the Ragnarok go down.
Swordfish.
Maybe. Oh, this is rather weak, though, Gentleman Jenkins. I think Gentleman Jenkins has the weakest of the rogue armies, so hardly surprising. Anyway, skip, and assuming there's no Diplo to be doing. Clan Scar. No, you have one territory, I'm gonna ignore you. Clan Scar, I believe, is to the north of us, so let's not. End turn now. Alright, Scalpick and Ashok the Bloody. Let's unlock some of those regiments of renown. Man, it feels so weird to have gone this far into a campaign and have no regiments of renown. One of the weird things about the Vampire Coast, I suppose. Alright, let's get to those rogue armies. Alright, Moorsleep's Howlers will in fact be able to move. Huh, okay, that didn't work. Alright, you're gonna sack this, I take it? Hopefully we can chase you down. And aha, okay, you will not move. Valiant defeat, but I think we can manage. Away we go.
By your word.
Alrighty, here we go. The first of the pieces of 8. Granted, it's Ashok the Bloody, so it shouldn't be anything crazy, but at the same time, we have no elites to rely upon here. No Aranessa, no Morngul Haunter, just Madeline and Henrietta. Although on the bright side, they do have the ability to raise dead, so we have bonus units to rely upon. Otherwise, this army is relatively weak, so we will have to be careful in terms of both our positioning and the way we take this particular fight. In that light, we have the mortars as far back as they can to annoy the enemy army. They are going to start off on the rock lobbers here, but are going to quickly switch to the enemy piles of infantry. We're going to send our deck dropper bombers in to destroy those goblin rock lobbers fast as they can, while the deck droppers with handguns, because of their heavy armor piercing damage, they're going to start working on enemy boar boys and on enemy trolls, as those are the biggest threats on the field. Oh, nice to fight under the Tomb King pyramids as well. That I get this one's partially destroyed, but still looks like quite the nice city in the background. Lovely. A lovely vacation. Alrighty, in the meantime, we are going to position everybody. So, the zombie pirate gunnery mobs with handguns have been hiding in the trees. I hid them at first so that they did not suffer damage from the enemy rock lobbers, though fortunately it looks like the rock lobbers were too far anyway. The sirens are out front in front of the rest of the army because they have stock and are hidden, and if an enemy cavalry tries to charge right up the center, the sirens will stop them, and due to their massive physical resistance, not take a lot of damage. Over on the flanks, we're going to have our zombie pirate deckhands mobs and gunnery mobs, while the center is protected by the units of gunnery mobs with bombers, as well as our elites. Mostly we need to leave these gaps in our lines so that all of our handgunners do the work and kill the trolls and boar boys and to some degree the other units. Anyway, speaking of boar boys, it looks like they'll be the first unit to reach our battle lines. Relatively slow for Cav and getting hit by those handgunners while they move, but enough of them have certainly made it through to charge our deckhands mobs. They are, however, going to get bogged down fighting deckhands while our rotting our animated hulks, they're not rotting anything, there we go, our animated hulks move on in. Animated hulks are ogre units, and later on I'm going to build an army that is lots of ogres, dead and living alike. So animated hulks combined with man-eaters and such. And, ooh, I also want to make like a crab rave army with just all crabby units, and that would be great as well. Anyway, getting distracted. Back to the battle. Over in the background, the first of the enemy rock lobbers has been destroyed by our deck droppers with bombs, and the second one will shortly follow suit. The main force of enemies have arrived and are getting bogged down by fighting sirens and our summoned zombie pirate deckhands. This is time for Wario's ideal to move in, and the bloated corpse will hopefully hit lots of enemy units. Alrighty, jump over the summoned unit and give us a hug. There we go, very, very nice. Center of the enemy line, if not quite collapsed, very heavily damaged there, and as soon as they're destroyed, we've got our own bombers chucking their bombs. The sirens back away a little bit as they took a little bit of clipping damage from the explosion of the bloated corpse. And we'll heal them up with an invocation of Nehek while the zombie pirate deckhands mob, this new summoned deckhands mob, holds off the orcs. Over here we've got bombs working together with the animated hulks, which is a pretty good combination, as the hulks are not liable to take a lot of damage into the bomb's explosion. It's certainly a decent combination to consider as we move forward. Otherwise, it looks like the battle is going very much in our favor at about 80%. We're having a little bit of a tough time on the leftmost flank as Goblin Wolf Raiders are ripping a unit of zombie pirate gunnery mob apart, and the Boar Boys are winning against the deckhands mob, but the enemy center line and rightmost flank has pretty much collapsed, and if we lose a couple units of zombies, I think it'll be well worth the investment. In the meantime, we also have our handguns and our flying handguns in the form of the deck droppers trying to focus down those trolls, as the 2 units of trolls that remain on the field are still very much a threat. Alrighty, hopefully we can get a Cathian ally. I'd love to get some sky junks and support the sky junks with various kinds of deck droppers for a flying army. I think that would go over pretty nicely. Oh, and it's trolls facing off against undead ogres here, as the animated hulks try to bonk those trolls. And the trolls are 4736, we are at 5226 on the animated hulks. They actually gain a plus 25 melee attack and lose their physical resistance when they're over 50% HP because of their the Maw wills it, a bit Call of the Maw rather, ability. So, they will hit even harder if they are to take some damage. Otherwise, the battle is just about ours. The Sirens have arrived to now deal with the enemy Boar Boys, as the deckhands mob has been destroyed, but there's no way that the Boar Boys are going to get through the Sirens, especially considering they're a self-healing unit as well, with their natural recovery. Over here we've got the second unit of trolls that has come back into the fray, and it's monstrous infantry versus monstrous infantry, at least for a little bit longer. Although the battle will soon be ours, some of the enemy orc biggins have also moved back in, only to get pistols to the face, but I imagine that they won't fight for too much longer, as the rest of the army is shrouding and shattering and done. And there we go. Alrighty. A reasonably long battle at about 5 minutes, though it did take a little bit of time for the enemy army to get to us. And it looks like we lost the zombie pirate deckhands mob, and there was one unit of gunnery mob with like the regular gunnery mob that died. Unfortunately, it seems that you can't withdraw units on islands, as I tried to withdraw both crumbling units, as they weren't quite dead. Well, undead, you know what I mean. They weren't quite gone yet, and unfortunately the withdraw ability never came up. I don't know how well you two did. They were not really applying much damage, they were just casting spells, and yeah, it kind of shows. It wasn't going to have them fight an orc war boss in their basic form. But that's fine, as the orc war boss will take a few cutlasses to the back and go down. You were supposed to do that on cue. And go down. There we go. Hey, he lost his head. He seems a little bit upset about something. Anyway, a little bit more chasing to do, as I think the enemy army will survive, but the rest can be done off screen. Alrighty, very, very nice. A few losses. Wario's Ideal here managed to do a massive amount of damage, 28k and 239 kills right in the center of the enemy formation, and alas, will not be seen again. The mortars did okay, nothing crazy, but certainly better than the enemy artillery pieces, which were destroyed by our bomber and deck bombers, which managed to do 18k damage and considerably more damage rather, than the regular zombie pirate and gunnery mobs. We also got about equivalent damage, in fact slightly more, on the deck droppers with handguns with 36 kills, and the reason for that is that they were targeting the trolls and the orc boar boys. So kill count is low, damage count is high, and their damage delta's gold value is in fact quite a bit higher still. The sirens did their job at holding the ground, and same with the animated hulks. They, despite their low defense, managed to hold ground quite well and dish out plenty of damage. I'm reasonably happy with the result of that. We are going to, I mean, I guess heal up. Ugh. They keep healing up instead of taking money. I mean, we still need to destroy the rest of the army, though. Then again, the other units aren't all that badly damaged. You know what? No, screw it. We're taking the money now. We'll take the money. I don't know whether the... Okay, yeah, the Pearl of the Kraken Sea, the Tide of Skjold, is now up and running. Zombie Pirate Deckhands mob. And I want to see whether... Okay, the army is still alive, so we will need to chase it down, but alas, we cannot reach it, which is going to be a source of great annoyance, as we are now permanently at war with them. But I think we're not going to bother chasing them. It's just too much effort, frankly. And no guarantee that we actually make it there. I did not give this a read, however, and I am gonna. And just north of Norska, there be a little-known expanse of ocean called the Kraken Sea. It is important to them crackpot Northmen on the nearby coastline of Skjold, who dropped the remains of their fallen warriors there. To them there be great favor to be had being eaten up and by those mutated sea monsters of chaos, hey, like Aranessa. But some of the souls are rejected by the fickle gods, marooned underwater and forsaken till the right juju gets them up and killing again. Fantastic. Alright, settlement sacked Port O Maggiore, that's fine, that's fine. We got a new treasure map as well, and a mission issued to upgrade the settlement. Ooh, campaign movement range plus 20%. I do like the sound of that. Brass cleaver and glittering scales, those are some damn solid rewards for when Sartosa is at tier 5. This army is now fairly decently damaged, but nonetheless I think we'll manually fight it. Oh, before I forget, now that we have man-eaters with ogre pistols, 88 caliber magic pistols actually fits. Alright, there we go. And I'll get some more names in there later. With that, unfortunately, we are out of time. Next time, Aranessa will destroy Scalpic, hopefully without too much problems, and then start moving, or continue, I should say, moving northward. We'll probably send Madeline down to Granty Mingle, and just to see about what the heck is going on here, mostly because I'm curious. If it's not worth all that much to us, what I'm probably gonna do is trade it to the Bloody Hands. If we can get something nice from them... Ooh, they're strength rank 2 now. We can't see strength rank 1 now. Yeah, maybe if we traded to them, we might be able to get a defensive alliance going and help them out a little bit in the Badlands, keep them policing all of these territories that are not wanted, while we take all the Vampire Coast, which is, well, there's a pretty big coastline in this particular map, so plenty of coast to choose from. Anyway, stay tuned for more Aranessa. Don't forget to leave a like and comment, especially to Threshold if you want that hour episode. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.
Temperature's rising.